Welcome to the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast, where we break down what it really takes to win in short-term rentals in today's market. From insider tips and emerging trends to real conversations with top playmakers in the space, this show gives you the tools, strategies, and mindset to build and scale a successful short-term rental business. Now, here's your host, Joe Roney.
This episode of The Co-Host Coach is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents. If you're looking to buy a short-term rental, then contact the STR Savvy Agent team at savvy.realty.
Hey guys, welcome to the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast. I am Joe Roney. I'm your host, and I am super excited to have the CEO and founder of strIQ, or strIQ data platform, Mr. Matt Sanderson. How you doing?
Joe, hey man, thanks for having me on. Good to be here.
Man, I'm super excited to have you on. We actually hooked up almost, I think it was over a year ago now that Austin Spitzenberger got us hooked up, and you came on our mastermind, and that was when I first got to start using this data platform, which to me has been really awesome. So what made you decide to jump into the data platform?
Oh man, I love some good old data. No, playing. So at the end of the day, what happened was, I've been a real estate broker for like 12, 13 years doing commercial real estate. And I realized, our clients, they need data to make business decisions, right? They don't want to go make these hyper emotional decisions. And so they need comps. They need this data to really make sure they're not making bad decisions. So after 12, 13 years of learning that, and then wanting to invest myself, I realized in residential, which is now becoming more commercialized with short-term rentals, there's a lot of people that want financial freedom and to get into this game. And oftentimes people are making emotional decisions, and it's not good because most people become average performers. And in this market, when there's 7%, 8% interest rates, it is not a good thing to be an average performer. So we realized the only way to really have true success in short-term rental investing now in this market environment is you have to have the data backed so that you know exactly what to do, so that not only you don't make a bad mistake, but you perform extremely well and you crush it and you're able to achieve the outcome that you're looking for. So that's how we got into the data game, because it's really the most important thing in making these decisions, or otherwise you might make a bad decision.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, our first short-term rental we bought 4 years ago in 2022, and I didn't pay for data. I had the free stuff. I typed in the address of the house I was looking at, and it said how much money we were going to do.
Oh, really?
I did do a little more data than that. I did, do a little research on what the properties could do, but it didn't give me all the data that I needed because, and we made an average decision. We had a house that it was cash flow positive, right? I mean, we didn't, we kind of knew what we were doing enough to get going and make it a good design and make it cash flow positive. Actually, we were the number one 2-bedroom house at $65,000 in all of Panama City Beach, I think, that didn't have a pool. But it was only cash flowing maybe $7,000 a year. It's not really hitting a home run when it's all said and done on a $500,000 property. So we, since then we've sold our property, and I've used strIQ on our newest property, and ran a 22% cash on cash return for the year. And
sweet. Man. Well, give me a little more feedback. I want to hear that, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, I knew, obviously, being a realtor in the market, in the Panama City Beach market, it gives me a competitive advantage because I know what works, and using your data platform and others, I knew the 4-bedroom and the 5-bedroom homes was the way to go. And then from there, it was, what are the amenities that are going to get us there? What's the design that's going to get us there? And it was a brand new build that came on the market. It was actually one side of a duplex, and we hit $142,000. My long big goal for the year was like impossible goal was 140, and we hit 142. So now I'm pushing that to 165, 170 next year.
No way. Okay. So when you were on the platform I guess that was probably the comps dashboard that you were on. How much revenue did it say you were likely to make? Because, we've got that range of revenue.
Yep.
What range of revenue was it showing, and what did you underwrite on?
I think it was 110, And
Okay.
I underwrote it at 125 as what I thought I could do because I do outperform the market and we do design properties really well. So I
Okay.
kind of, I had a good, better, best. A good was if we hit 95K, we break even.
Okay.
What I thought we'd do was 125, which was, what I kind of underwrote it at. And then it was like, what's the best case scenario at 140? And well, we hit 142. So
No way. So you're basically at that like 90th percentile or even higher
Yep.
of that market for that specific type of property.
Yep. On it.
Sweet.
Another data platform I use that I can go in and just show me the top performers. I'm in of all 4 bedrooms in my area, I'm the 4th one. And
No way.
2 of the ones above me are beachfront, and I'm 3 blocks from the beach. So
No way. So, okay, that's incredible to not be on the beach, but still be performing as if you are almost a beach property.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. If you are performing at that level, you've got to have certain data or key amenities or key things that differentiate you from everyone else.
Yep.
What are those things? And did you discover any of that on strIQ?
So obviously at the beach, the pool, right? I mean, and that it's a must, right? You have to have an in-ground pool to be successful at the beach. You can have an above ground, but at the end of the day, you need to have something. But the most important thing is you have to have an experience. And that's what I've learned in this game is you have to provide an experience for your guests because, if you're not a beachfront property, what are they coming back to your house to do at 3:00 in the afternoon when the kids are hot, tired, and they have sand in their eyes? What are they going to do? Are they going to go to a house and they just sit there, and turn on their tablets, or are you going to provide an experience? And the houses that we either own or manage now all have those experiences, and it's been the game changer.
Yeah. See, this is why I'm a strong believer that agents that have this type of data are just unbeatable and just super dangerous because, strIQ is essentially the GPS or the tech, that you can go do on your own if you want to. But the data combined with an expert agent or an expert local person, those two working together provide enormous value. And so the fact that you're a data-backed expert, like that's why I would, anytime I'd want to buy something in Panama City, I'd want to work with you because you know the data, but you've got that local expertise that I don't necessarily have that makes you incredibly valuable because you know, like the little intangible things that are hard to capture with the data itself. So anyway, I need to go buy some with you, man.
Yeah. I mean, I had a client that I was working with last night. We were texting back and forth and he sent me this house. He's like, it's a 4-bedroom house, just like yours. He's like, what do you think I'm going to be able to hit that? And I'm like, all right, well, let's compare. And I was like, well, yours has the living room and the kitchen on the 2nd level. So now you've just eliminated all the grandparents, right? Because you have 3 bedrooms on the main level and the living space is on the 2nd level. Mine has the living space on the main level with a master suite with the rest of the bedrooms upstairs. So the grandparents can come, right?
Yeah.
So 2, even the older people that want to come in the winter months, the living space is upstairs. And if they have dogs, because pet friendly is a big thing, now they're going to have to go down the stairs to let those dogs out the backyard constantly. That's going to be something that hinders your revenue. And then the final thing was, even though it did have a pool, it wasn't quite the outside space. It was just a pool and a couple chairs, and that was it. It just wasn't big enough. So it's like when you compare, you have to compare, apples to apples. And I couldn't provide the data to say that this could do what mine was doing. And we ended up passing. It was a great property, but when we really look at what it actually can do, it just wasn't there.
Yeah. See, and that's, I think the thing I love working with you on, because like our data, we're not data providers that say, hey, here's their one revenue number and that's it. The key difference between us and others are, hey, we show the 50th percentile, we show the 70th percentile, we show the 95th or the 90th percentile, and even up towards the top 100%. And so we give that full range. And so I can go into a market, I can filter for, I want to see anything above 10% cash on cash return that makes over $100,000 in revenue. And what we've done together, even on some examples, is I'm running these properties and I'll flip it to you. And I'm like, hey, Joe, I found an awesome property. It's $1 million. It shows like 10% cash on cash, makes $5,000 a month in cash flow. Like, what do you think? And you're able to go in there and say, well, you know what? Like, actually, that seems a little high. Maybe juice it down a little bit just because you are off the beach a little bit more. And I'm able to go customize my pro forma based on that local expertise. Or like that one property you sent me, you're like, hey, here's this awesome duplex. It's got a pool, it's got everything you can imagine, but it needs like $300,000 of CapEx. Let's go factor that in. But if you do it, you can get to this upper threshold of that revenue that we're showing, which could then be a 15% cash on cash return and make like 8 to 10 grand a month in net cash flow. But you have to have that, 300 grand of capital to go do it.
Yep.
So there's all these nuances that, that it's hard for just the data itself to do it or just the agent, but then combined, man, it makes like such a powerful story. And that's why I've loved working with you guys and Savvy, because those two things combined just makes it way better experience for, whoever's out there looking for that next short-term rental.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're both in the business to help investors make educated decisions that are going to meet their goals and hopefully be cash flowing properties, whatever their goal is. Like that's what this is. And it does take both. It takes the data and it takes the on the ground expertise to be able to put them together. But what I've loved about the strIQ data is that, and most data sources didn't have this in the past, some of them have started to adapt it recently, is I could narrow down and say, show me the top 10 properties that are 5 bedrooms with in-ground pools in this circle. And it would just pull up those properties for me. And I didn't have to go through a map view of 8,000 purple circles and click on each one of them to figure out which one was a good one and which one wasn't. Right. Yeah. And it saved me time with what I was searching for, because at the end of the day, I operate in the 90th percentile. Like as a realtor, I only look at the 90th percentile because that's what I want my investors to be able to hit. So I'm giving them comps on what they have to do to hit that 90th percentile. Like here are the top 3 properties. If you want to hit these numbers, you have to be better than this. And we have to make sure your properties are better than this. Now, some of them don't have the budget or they don't want to do it, and we're in the 75th percentile. It depends on their goals, but it depends. But that's where we're trying to work. And the majority of us at Savvy, we work in that 90th percentile because that is the potential. And why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why would you go into business to be average? Right? Yeah. I mean, there's no reason.
Well, yeah. And, the number one thing I hear from people is like, oh, it's so hard to find good deals. Like any conference we go to or other people we meet, it's like, oh, it's so hard to find. It is hard to find good deals because most people are average performers. And so if you're evaluating properties based on average potential, like it's just, I mean, it's a needle in the haystack to find a property anywhere in the country and operate on that 50th percentile. And so the secret to all of this, like if you don't hear anything else that I'm saying, that for any listener out there, if you're the 50th percentile average revenue, it will almost be impossible to be profitable or even break even.
Yep.
You have got to get to the 75th or the 90th percentile, which is that upscale or premium or luxury status. And the only way to get there is to know what the data is showing and to work with that local expert to help guide you to that point, and to have these unique 2 to 3 amenities like the pool, like you're saying in that specific market. But in every single market, there's 2 or 3 unique amenities that will get you to that point. And sometimes they're not even that expensive. Like sometimes you don't have to spend $100,000 on a pool. You could do, I don't know, like a $20,000 putt thing, like there's these unique things, or like a home gym, and a hot tub is typically like a number one thing to have. So it's just, what are those key amenities to get to that point? And then you'll find that you could take a negative 20% cash on cash if it's average to a positive 20% cash on cash by just knowing exactly how to get to that upper threshold, which is really cool to know that, there's not like a one size fits all for these properties.
Yep. And the other part that I think that, and a lot of people discount this, is bedroom count and configuration, right? There's a happy medium between heads and beds and having the right bedroom configuration for your avatar, right? So in my market, I have found that if I can have 3 king suites in a 4+ bedroom house, I can attract 3 families to share my property. But if I have 2 kings and a queen, I'm probably only attracting 2 families. So my properties that have 3 king bedrooms, and then that 4th bedroom it might be the bunk room, it might be the or the 5th room, whatever, it might just have a couple queen beds, whatever it may be. But we're attracting multifamily, and that's really, in today's environment, we're getting more and more people that are booking in multifamily. And even my 2-bedroom house that I said that I hit $65,000, I had king beds in both bedrooms, and then I had 2 sleeper sofas. I slept 7, and I could attract adults, two couples. We have bike week and motorcycle week. I'd have people with 2 couples with their motorcycles at my house every single bike week because I had 2 king beds. And
Oh, that's awesome.
the king bed is it. If you can have a king or a queen, once you go to a queen, you are eliminating 50% of the people that might book your house.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I don't have that data to actually say, yeah, that's exactly it is. But if you think about 50% of our population, well, I'm not the smallest guy. We're overweight and we're big. So, we want king beds. My wife and I sleep on a queen and we're fine. But
Yeah.
we have friends that we camp with that will never sleep on anything but a king bed. So if you don't have that, it is actually one of the things that I think is overlooked the most.
Yeah. Again, another reason the tech paired with the local expert, like there's all these little nuances that we try to capture as much as possible in the tech, and even AI that's coming out that we're leveraging on top of the tech. But there's just like these little nuances that are very specific to these markets that only Joe would know for Panama City. And so something actually that's a fun update for you is, have you ever used Waze app before?
No, I
Like
haven't.
when you're driving on the road and you're trying to find the fastest route to that destination.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So Waze, their whole platform is based on crowdsourcing information so that the community comes together to help each other avoid pitfalls or potholes or cops on the road or whatever. In the same way, strIQ is trying to come together with our community. We're going to be very community focused to, basically replace Zillow, AirDNA spreadsheets is kind of the first place. Then leverage AI on top of that. And the final missing link that we're really starting to do is come together with our community to crowdsource information like Waze does to help each other navigate STR regulations, navigate bad deals, navigate all this stuff together so that the community helps each other become successful. And so that's the type of stuff that we could be doing over the next 6-12 months as we're building strIQ 2.0, is pulling in our partners, these agents and local resources to say, hey, Joe, like, what are these interesting things about this market we need to know? Well, let's leverage this in our data model. Let's train our AI on it. And then now when our customers are looking in Panama City Beach, they have this interesting information that can be really pulled into the data and the AI itself to spit out the most interesting results for that person. So that's kind of where we're going with strIQ 2.0, which is going to be launching this year.
That's awesome. I think that's huge. And, we talk about AI a lot lately because if you're not embracing it in your business, you are going to be left behind. It doesn't matter what business you are in, anywhere in the world. If you're not embracing AI, you're going to be left behind. And it's, it's here to stay. Like it's not a fad. In my day, the internet was new, right? Like when the internet first was invented, I was young, right? And that was like, what's this thing? No, AI is not going away. This is a huge thing.
100%. So I would love to ask you, so Panama City, I own a property on 30A near a 30A cafe. So it's like a 5-minute drive from Seaside. And, we love going there, but it's like super expensive properties everywhere. So it's hard to be cash flow positive on 30A. Yep. There's probably some, but it's very difficult. Now, Panama City is equally amazing from a beach perspective. The water's the same, and properties are way more affordable there, which is why that market's like incredible investment market. And it feels like it's really turning and becoming just, way better. Yep. So I would love to ask you, like, if I had, I don't know, 150 to 200,000, maybe 150 to $300,000 of capital as a down payment and improvements to go buy something.
Yep.
What are you looking for? And, you could leverage strIQ if you want to, or just talk about your local knowledge, but how would you guide that investor to find the best property? Like, what are the key things you're looking for most likely?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of overpriced properties, right? I mean, that's, the real truth is there's a lot of people that overbought. They paid too much for their property in the last couple of years. And so number one is finding the right deal, right? So understanding what your numbers are. The happy spot in PCB is that 650 to 900, right? That's the price point. When you get over $1 million, you can find some great deals. When you get to 1.5, you can find some great deals. But the highest ROI are in that 650 to 900 range in the single family homes. And it could be West End or East End. The great thing about the West End PCB is that we're so close to 30A. and
Mhm.
you've vacationed there, so you understand the private beach access and the deeded beach access and the frustrations that a lot of people are having there. So we're
Yeah.
getting a lot of those guests spilling over to West PCB because they can drive 5 minutes to Inlet and Rosemary.
Yeah.
But they'll come to West PCB because it's all open public beaches, and on the west end
It's the same beach.
it's the same beach, and there's no high-rise condos, and you can spread out and have plenty of space, right?
Yeah.
Where if you're in those private deeded beach accesses in 30A, you might be shoulder to shoulder, where your
Yeah.
tent is touching somebody else's tent because it's that tight sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's where we're getting it on the west end. But what I love about it is the development, like the new Dolly Parton Dinner Theater that we just got. Kid Rock's new.
Oh, cool.
Kid Rock has bought Spinnakers, which used to be a big
The
spring break
thing
bar,
on the beach.
right?
Yeah.
So he's a part owner in that. But it's Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, which is going to be a 3-story restaurant and
Sweet.
country western bar on the beach. Compass Hotels Margaritaville just bought a whole city block on the east end that they're going to put a big Compass Hotel in. Where you're going to be able to buy passes, from what I understand, to actually go in there and use their resort. I mean, so
Nice.
we got a new Top Golf. So, I took my girls to 30A. They actually, and they're 18 and 20 years old. They didn't like it. They were like, "What's there to do?" And I'm like, "Well, we have this, this, and this." They're like, "Okay." And they're not the beach girls that can go sit on the beach for 8 hours. They're on the beach for 3 or 4 hours, and they're like, "Okay, what are we going to do next?"
Yeah. Let's go do something.
Because that's what I've been my whole life. I'm a go kind of guy. So I've trained them for that. And so they're like, well, let's go back to PCB because there's so many activities. There's just so much stuff to do.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, 30A is more chill. You go to the Great Southern, you go to that green square, get a coffee and hang out, let the kids play. PCB, there's just like way more activities. I mean, it's just a different experience. So, but the beautiful thing about it is, if you buy something in PCB, you get all that, and it's literally like 10-minute drive to 30A. So it's like you kind of get the best of both worlds, and it's cheaper, and you get better ROI, and it's really great. So
yep.
It sounds to me like, so I've run a ton of analyses on properties on 30A, or on Panama City, and so I know that market really well. And so let me ask you this: based on what you're saying, if it's 600 to 900,000, you're probably not on the beach unless you're a condo, which you probably want to stay away from condos. It sounds like, maybe, I don't know. Unless the HOA is like reasonable.
There's a few condo complexes that are very, very investable. I was actually under contract to buy one last month that fell through, but
okay.
So
condo could be interesting. So we'll come back. Let's come back to condos here in a second. But it sounds like based on that price point, you're probably 2 to 3 blocks from the beach potentially. Mm-hmm. 1 to 3 blocks maybe. Yep. And so if you're 1 to 3 blocks away, how many bedrooms? Oh, I've got like fireworks going on behind me. I don't know what's going on. I like
that.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
It must be, we're on the right track to something. Okay, if it's 600 to 1 million, and you're 1 to 3 blocks away, it sounds like you probably have to have a pool to hit those revenue metrics you need. What else do you need to be looking at for that particular type of property?
I mean, the 4-bedroom for sure, right? Because
at least 4 bedrooms.
4-bedroom is kind of the minimum. You can, if you're in the 500 range, you can get a 3-bedroom and you'll be fine. But and your ROI is going to be okay. But that 4-bedroom or more definitely makes the impact. And the pool with more outdoor space. So we've been putting pergolas in our backyards. We've been doing turf with bricks. We've been doing putting greens. Making it a complete experience. And I'll share our most recent, or one of our most recent 5-star reviews. I think I actually said it on this show a few weeks ago, but I had a guest that sent me a private review, and he said, "We have been coming to Panama City Beach for a decade. We love it here. We always get a really nice house. We go to the beach, we go to dinner, then we come home and all the kids sit in their rooms on their tablets. We watch some TV and we wake up and do it again, and it's great. But because of the outdoor space that you created, we all put our phones away and we had the most amazing family experiences that we've ever had. And we're going to be coming back every single year."
No way. That's awesome.
And that is what we're trying to provide, right? We're trying to get people to put their phone down and have a vacation with their family. And when you create that experience, they do it.
So let's talk about some of these unique amenities, because I'm seeing unique amenities all throughout the different, parts of the U.S. with clients that we have, and property. I just closed on a property yesterday, and we're about to sink in probably like $200,000 of like very unique amenities. Like pickleball is like huge now. Yep. I hope it stays around for a long time as like a thing, because we're about to put one in as a new property. But like, let's talk about some really interesting or unique amenities you're seeing. I've got some ideas, but maybe let's hear from you. Like, what are some things that are people doing that are performing at that highest level?
I can't pinpoint a single amenity, and I tell everyone that you can't just say, okay, if I add this, it's going to move the needle, or if I add this, it's going to move the needle. You have to have the whole package, right? I mean, in these, we're adding arcades in these rooms, in these houses. If we have a garage, we're creating game spaces with multiple gaming areas and skee ball and foosball and whatever it may be, and the pool and the pergola sitting area. And it really comes down to, all right, you got to think about the guest experience, right? So if a guest is out there, and we had one recently, it had a great pool, but there wasn't any shade. So, I'm talking to the investor, what are you going to do for shade? Because mom and dad who want to sit out here and have a cocktail while their kids are in the pool aren't going to sit in the 100-degree blazing sun. So how are you going to create that space, right? So we're adding pergolas to create that shaded space with some curtains on it, and they're louvered and whatever. So we've been adding some of those. We've added 4 of those into properties this year, and a little seating area underneath it. Of course, having a dining table with an umbrella, having those lounge chairs by the pool so they can sit back and tan, whatever it may be. I mean, so I can't really say it's a pinpoint of one thing. I will say that the number one thing that moves the needle in Panama City Beach is having it pet friendly and having a space for pets. And I think that's important because your winter guests. So all the condos are not pet friendly for guests. So if you have snowbirds or you have people coming to your place in the winter, I just increased the amount of people that'll book my place. And my house in January, when most people are struggling to get $2,000 a month snowbirds, I'm at $4,800 in January bookings with 4 different guests.
Nice.
They're all pets. They're all wanting heated pools. They're all there for a reason. And they're 3 to 6 night stays. So, so I can't say it's a single one. We have had quite a few properties put in pickleball courts this year. And those properties, actually, the only other property in my area that's outperforming me at a 4-bedroom that's not on the beach has a pickleball court.
Pickleball court?
Yep. Yeah. They're only beating me by $4,000, but they are beating me.
They put in that pickleball.
But they got a bigger backyard and a pickleball court.
Nice.
So I can't really say we can pinpoint it on one single amenity. I think you have to think about the whole package.
Yeah, I totally agree. Hey, have you seen on the comps dashboard, this updated comps dashboard that we just put out, the amenity list on the left side of the dashboard?
Yep.
Have you been using that very much?
I haven't used it a ton yet, just because, man, it's been such a crazy month and a half just trying to, but it'll be something that we're diving into after we get into the first of the year.
So some homework for you to go test out, maybe some clients. And this is just hats off to my developer. It was really his idea on doing this. He put that amenity list on our comps dashboard that, once you filter down your amenities and your comps, you can click this button that says exclude 90%. So basically it takes away all the amenities that 90% of the properties have, and it shows you the top 10% amenities of these performers out there that are performing the best. And then it gives you a range of revenue potential that every single one of these amenities could possibly drive in extra annual revenue. So like it'll associate a value with like a pool to say, hey, look, if you were to add a pool, it could drive an extra 50 grand a year in revenue. If you had a hot tub, it would drive an extra 10 grand a year in revenue. We actually have pet friendly on there. If you do pet friendly, it could drive an extra 10 grand a month in net revenue. So something we just released this recently. Awesome. So I would love for you to test it out with your clients and see maybe how accurate it is, the results you get. But I think that's some really cool stuff that we're just on the tip of the iceberg of what we can be doing with knowing the exact amenities to drive the best results.
No, that's awesome. So a couple questions for you real quick, because he gave me the 30-minute mark. But
okay.
So a couple things. Number one, if an investor is coming in to use your platform, right?
Yeah.
And they are, they're a new investor looking for their first short-term rental. Number one, what are your top 3 or 5 markets that you recommend they look in right now?
Top 3 to 5 markets. So I'll tell you my knee-jerk reaction, and then I'll tell you the markets.
Okay.
My knee-jerk reaction is you can actually buy profitable properties literally anywhere.
I agree.
It's how do you uncover the needle in the haystack in that market? So I don't really care what market it is. Like I like Fredericksburg. I want to find something there, or I like Panama City. I don't actually think about, oh, what are the top markets and then go find one.
Yep.
I just think about the markets I like, and then I'm able to uncover the needle in the haystack through our tech that will just do it really fast. So that's my particular strategy. That way I can actually have 5, 6 homes that are paying for themselves, making cash flow, and I get to go use them whenever I want.
Yep.
But the other strategy, top markets I'm seeing right now, honestly, Panama City is for sure at the top of one of the most interesting markets, especially with all that demand that's going in there with all the investment that's happening.
Yep.
The hill country of Texas is exploding right now. I just helped a guy buy a $2 million property in the hill country of Texas, and it's going to make like 400 or 500 grand in revenue or more. Michael Elefante just bought something there, and he told me he thinks he's going to make 500,000 to 600,000 in revenue for his mega property out there. So the hill country of Texas is just absolutely exploding. You've got the Carolinas that are always doing well. I mean, Asheville has always been like a strong market, but like, I don't know. It's just Gatlinburg and the Smoky Mountains and Asheville and those places, like people have been talking about them forever. I think those will always just be tried and true, like incredible markets that people will always go to.
Yep.
I've never really been there, so I'm not too sure.
I feel like everything's investable except for like Disney right now. So
yeah, like at the end of the day, like you're an agent, I'm an agent too, by background. I am excited because this is the stinking best market I've seen in a long time, because prices just keep coming down and down and down. And we as agents, we know like lights are going off in our mind of, oh my gosh, this is incredible opportunity to negotiate an extra 20% off that price or 10% off that price or whatever.
Yep.
And so right now I think, everything is investable except, Disney, maybe California and New York. Some of these other
high regulation stuff like that. But I agree. I think, the 2026 outlook for real estate investors is really, really good, right? If you want to get into short-term rentals, and we even said this. I mean, I had a conversation with Luke Carl about this like 3 years ago. We're like, 2024 and 25 are going to be, we're going to get better. We're going to get better. But then once we hit that 26 mark, because what happened this year is a lot of people that weren't successful got out. We actually saw a less amount of short-term rentals in our market. There was actually a little bit of a decline because some people turned them into long-term rentals, or they turned them into mid-term rentals, or they decided to live in them, whatever it may be. And the last part is the prices are coming down. So I officially, I'll announce it here. I sold over $30 million in real estate in this year, and as a realtor. I only did $8 million in 2024.
Wow.
And I have a $50 million goal in 2026. And I think that's a very doable goal, because that is how good the market is right now. And it's quality properties, and it's finding those niches that we've been talking about, and it's very, very investable.
Yeah. And I've been on both sides of a horrible market and an amazing market. And if you are an investor right now, like, do not wait. Now is the most amazing time ever to invest, because interest rates are probably only going to go lower. That means more demand is going to pick up over time.
Yep.
So you might as well get in while you can before the rest of the party shows up. And I remember back in 2021 buying my seaside property, and it took me about 5 dang houses before I actually landed on one, because I was in bidding wars on every single one of them. Yeah. And they were all going overpriced by 25, 50, 100 grand. And I was losing every single opportunity I found because the market was just so crazy. So now is incredible time to buy if you were trying to get into short-term rentals. And then you get the bonus depreciation on top of that, which is like the cherry on top. And that's, almost the best part.
My cash on cash return when I added my bonus depreciation was 43%, by the way.
Yeah,
so
it's
show me in the stock market where I can get a 43% return, and I'll put my money in there.
Short-term rentals are literally the greatest investment of all time. That's why I went all in on this thing. Like literally quit my job, went all in on it, because I've never discovered an asset class like this. If you're going to have to pay 100 grand in taxes to the government, why would you just cut the government $100,000 check when you can just put it on a down payment for a $600,000 to $1 million house and own an asset that produces cash flow? And now you own this thing. And then you can go to the beach too with your family. Like, why would you? I don't understand. So we're trying to educate people on this, and it sounds like you are too. It's just like people can't comprehend that there's something this good out there.
Yep.
But the truth, it's literally this good.
It is. It is. But at the same time, the stuff that we talk about week in and week out, you can't invest in this business as a side hustle. You can't invest in this business to be like, yeah, I'm just going to be average and whatever. If you're going to do it, you got to do it. Like you can't just go part of the way in. You got to go all in. And it doesn't mean you have to quit your job. Like you and I have no longer have W-2s, but you do need to do your research, use the data tools, and make a data-driven decision as well as a financial decision that's going to meet your goals, because that's what's going to get you to that financial future that you're looking for and hit those goals that you want. And it definitely comes down to, and it starts with using a great data source like strIQ, because it's going to give you the tools and resources to make that data-driven decision. And if you're not using a savvy realtor, you definitely should be. If you're in a market that doesn't have a savvy realtor, make sure you find a real estate agent that owns and manages short-term rentals in that market, because they are going to be your boots on the ground to be able to tell you what's working and what's not.
Totally agree.
So awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing tons of nuggets. Man, super excited to see 2.0 and what it launches. It's been, it's funny. I've been, when you came to Savvy to actually bring strIQ to our team, I had been using it for 6 months, and I was just telling everyone all about it. I'm like, yeah, guys, do this and do that. And this is what I love about it. And obviously I use multiple data platforms. We all do. We don't all just stick to one place. But the data that I've been able to get out of strIQ has been really awesome, and it's helped my investors that are buying properties make better decisions. So I appreciate you guys putting that together.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. No, and I think with 2.0 launching, it is going to be incredible. Like, we have all the data there, but now when we're going to be leveraging AI on top of that, I mean, you've seen the impact of AI on everything to this point.
Yep.
I mean, imagine AI sitting on top of the MLS, all the revenue information you could ever imagine, and the most powerful spreadsheet calculator you could ever imagine, all combined in one, and then a chat feature AI on top of that. I mean, it is ridiculous what technology can do to unlock wealth and information for people. So that's what strIQ's all about. We're really trying to help people accelerate that process to find that profitable property, because it takes forever, and I know the pain of that. And then really what we're selling is confidence, because a lot of people are dealing with fear. Like me, when I was first buying, I was scared to death.
Yep.
And even if I found that property that showed screaming 40% cash on cash, I was still scared to death, because I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. What if my house burns down? And it's just, so we really want to sell confidence is what we're trying to do. And that's what the data is for, is to help you as an investor know, hey, if I'm going to spend $200,000, which feels very risky, I'm going to have the confidence that, okay, I'm going to trust strIQ. I'm going to trust Joe. I'm going to go all in on this thing. And you know what? It's going to work, and it's going to be amazing. And it's amazing if you believe in yourself, you trust the data, you trust your local expert, you really can make some pretty crazy returns. And when you start getting these dings on your phone of your bookings, left and right, over and over and over, 5,000, 10,000, 2,000, you're like, oh my gosh, like, is it really this easy? So the hard part's the upfront. But once you do it and you make the right decision and you take that risk, it pays dividends, and it's incredible. So anyway, appreciate you having me on, man. This has been fun, and maybe we'll go buy a property in Panama City together.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. And I'm going to leave everyone with this. Number one, if you are debating on if spending money on a data tool is worth it or not for the couple $100 or however much it is, it doesn't matter. You're getting ready to spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for an investment. Stop using free data, pay to get real data, and use it to your advantage, right? So too many people I see, I don't want to spend money, and it's $100 a month or $200 a month or whatever it is. And you don't need to pay for the data for 5 years. You pay for it when you're using it, and you use it to your advantage, and don't be scared. And then the second part is just like you were just saying, sometimes you just have to stop looking at the data and make the leap. You got to take the jump. And if you don't jump and make that decision to make that purchase, you're going to be sitting on the sidelines while everybody else is being successful and making money. So 2026 is all about taking that jump. And if you're on the fence on getting that short-term rental, today's the day. Stop.
Yeah, and let me just say, look, data-backed agents are some of the most valuable people you can have. Here's why. Because if you want to go buy a short-term rental and you need help, and you go hire a coach or a property finder, they will charge you at least 10,000, probably 15 or 20,000 or more to go buy that property. You come out of pocket for that, and then you still have to do the down payment and all the capital. The beautiful thing about agents is they do all the same stuff you would be doing for paying for that for free. I say free, but really the seller is paying their real estate fee to do it. And so why would you pay 10, 15, 20 grand for a property finder when you can just work with Joe for quote unquote free and the seller pays their fee? It's like the best model out there, a success-based fee that they only get paid if you're successful. So anyway, that's why I would never work without an agent. And I am an agent. Like if I ever go buy a property in another market, I will not ever buy a property unless I have an agent helping me, because why? I don't even pay their fee. The seller does, and they negotiate all the value for me. So just a little carrot that, hey, you should not do this on your own. And in fact, an agent is the best way to go, and the cheapest way, honestly.
Yep. I will tell you that I've worked with many of these property data finders, and guess who they call? They call
you up as agent.
They call us to help us find their clients' properties after they charge their client tens of thousands of dollars. So at the end of the day, cut out the middleman. So I appreciate that that little bit there. So, but yeah, awesome, man. Thank you so much. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to find you or reach out if they had any data questions?
Yeah, y'all can reach out to us at www.strIQ.com. There's a contact form. You could reach out that way. You can try a free trial for the tech if you'd like to. Or you can reach out to me at matt.sanderson@strIQ.com, and would be happy to help answer any questions or show you a demo.
Awesome. We'll put that information in the show notes. I will always call it strIQ, even though you guys officially have called it strike now. It'll still be strIQ for me, but thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you for listening this week on the Short Term Rental Playmaker podcast. I'll see you next time.